But this week we're gonna discuss.
We're gonna talk about balance.
Yeah.
And I think that actually, I didn't think about it before we was talking about it, but that kind of goes with the.
It's a similar.
Yeah, it's a similar thing. But what kind of got us to say we're gonna talk about balance was you were watching a video.
As I always talk about, I am athlete, right?
Yeah.
One of the podcasts that I listen to, and it was, a bunch of ex football players, retired football players, and they were talking to Deion Sanders. He was the guest on their show at the time, and one of the guys they were talking about relationship and building the relationship, and what they learned over their years of failed relationships, and now what they're calling successful relationships, because all of them, with the exception of one, have been married for a little bit. And one of the guys said that he equated his relationship, or any relationship, to a Venn diagram, where, and for most of us out there, Venn diagram, you have the two circles that overlap.
Yeah.
You have like the little football in the middle where the overlap is, and essentially the guy Channing Frye was saying that a relationship is like a Venn diagram, in the sense that you have to have that overlap. And the overlap is the relationship. It's the commonalities. It's the things that you're doing and building and working on together. And while that may be the larger part of the Venn diagram,
Right.
For your personal relationship, the two semicircles, or the two crescents on the outside, that's your personal, and your partner's personal, that's just as important. And you have to have your section, and you have to keep your section, and it can't be interrupted. The minute that the Venn diagram, the two circles overlap and become the same circle, the relationship is basically, in his mind, doomed to failure, because there's no individuality.
Yeah. I think because honestly, when you start seeing everything, like this person mimics everything, or you have everything in common, it's
Right.
kind of like one person is dominating the relationship.
Yeah, yeah.
Like somebody has adapted to or adopted the personality and the characteristics of the other individual.
Yeah, it's usually not a. It's
A well-balanced
even
relationship.
split between both of us. It's one of our things is
Dominating.
overbearing the other one, right? And so he was saying that the relationship needs that Venn diagram, and not just one single circle, but your piece, my piece, and then the piece that we make together.
Yeah.
And just as important as the piece that we make together is the individual pieces. And you need to keep that piece, and you need to hold on to that piece and take care of your piece, so that the merger can be successful.
Yeah.
And so and so we discussed that. We were talking about that, and it was just like, that's an interesting take, because a lot of people do be like, oh, we gotta build this. It's us against the world, whatever. And we mentioned it before. You kind of lose yourself.
Yeah.
A little.
Yeah. No, it's still us against the world. But every now and then I have to say, it's me. And it's really tricky, because it's not saying that it's me over us. But it's saying, if I'm better, then we're better.
Right.
If I have an identity and a good understanding of who I am as a person, then I can bring the best qualities of myself to the relationship to make it a well-balanced, healthy relationship.
Yeah.
And so we do that by checking the oil, checking ourselves, checking with our partner to see, what they say and how they're feeling, as well as how we're feeling and what we say about the relationship or ourselves. Taking that time to say, hey, like, I think I need a girls trip. What do you think about if I took a girls trip? And, that came up in my mind just now, because some of my girlfriends just finished having a girls trip. And I couldn't go because, one, school. I had my intensive week this week. I'm having my intensive week this week. And two, financial stuff, you might not be able to ball out like everybody else, you know.
Right. And at the time,
Everybody's balling out. So, you know, but it's kind of bringing those ideas to the tables of, okay, so if you are going on a girls trip, all right, I think that's cool. You know, you always want to have a conversation and see where your partner is about having that me time, because even though it's necessary, you have to be, have that line of communication open where you say, "Hey, I think I need a little time to decompress. What do you think about X, Y, and Z?" Because he or she may have had plans, or they may think that we can't do that right now, or what I'm saying, something like that. So you want to have that communication, that conversation, and plan out what it is. Okay, I think I need maybe 2 hours to myself, or it could be I need 2 days.
And it's funny. Oh no, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's funny because one of the things that the guys were saying, and we've talked about it too, is that sometimes the one individual was saying sometimes his wife will notice that he's a little on edge, and it's just like, babe, go fishing. Yeah. Because fishing is his thing. That's how he decompresses. And this is like, babe, go take a fishing trip. Yeah. And, and it's kind of like that. It almost feels like you getting on my nerves, get away from me. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like it's recognizing that that your partner isn't taking care of their side of the circle, and saying, okay, you need some self-care time.
And also, it's not even that the other person may not be taking care of their, like, on purpose. They're not taking. They may not even recognize that they're stressed. They may not understand their triggers. But a lot of the times, looking from the outside in, we can see, oh wait, this is a high or stressful state for my spouse or my partner. I know that they're going to work at a certain time, and it's going to be real stressful for them. So let me go ahead and try to combat that by giving a suggestion, or planning a day where you just go get your nails done, get your hair did, and your nails did. Everything did. So we're always trying to make sure we have a balance. That also goes into like, one of our things was going back to school for me. And it was just like, well, we're married, certain things has led us to having a lot of time together in our relationship and in life. But you were like, okay, go back to school. You want to go back to school, figure it out what you want to go back to school for, and just go ahead and go.
And do that.
And do that, because you're kind of in a place of being stagnant, a place of, what am I going to do now? And it's just like, well, you always wanted to go back to school. So
go.
Now is the time to go. Now that helps our relationship financially. Once I finish school, that helps our relationship, because as an individual, now I'm seeing that I'm going after my goals, and I'm coming into my own purpose as an individual.
Right. So, let's for a second talk about what we do to maintain balance.
Okay.
How we maintain balance. And it's a bit of a transparency moment. Kind of letting you guys out there.
Yeah, we like transparency
into our relationship, if you will, for just a second. But how do we maintain balance? How do we keep up with self and keep up with our relationship, and what are some things that you notice about me, some things I notice about you, all that stuff. You first though.
So you can bounce off.
Yeah. So I can steal your answer. I like to cheat on the test.
Whatever. Transparency moment. I think we could do better in this area. But again, life experiences, the way we are, kind of has led us to be together a lot. And I say that again, transparency moment. We share a vehicle. So there's not, I mean,
Many instances.
you can, I can get a Uber, have a friend pick me up, all of that stuff. But a lot of the times it's just simpler to say, I'm going to wait till my husband get off of work, and if that doesn't work, then that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, I think we could come up in that area. But for me, some of the activities, I read, especially now because of class, I have to read. You do a lot of gaming, in your downtime to kind of get yourself, in the right state of mind and at a calm and peaceful state. Um, so yeah, again, we're away from everybody. Our closest friend is 40 minutes away in Richmond.
Yeah.
I was about to say, you gonna cancel all our friends in Richmond? Okay,
No,
y'all saw that, right? Y'all saw
I
that.
wasn't canceling anybody out. I was thinking,
Yeah, and like Mello, my friend Mello is an hour in the other
in the other
direction.
right.
So yeah.
All right. So I would say one of the ways that we maintain balance is similar to what you said. Is that I'm not gonna say we've mastered, because I don't think there's any mastering relationships, right?
Right.
But I would say we have mastered the art of, well, I just said it, but we've figured out the other person's triggers, in the sense of when the other person is a little bit off, right? Whether that's, sad, upset, irritated,
Right. Bothered. Just
bothered, or a little bit overly happy, a little bit too,
Yeah, Derek, that's you all the time. I'd be like,
not.
bro.
It's not. And I'll say like we were discussing recently. Sometimes I get into, and I don't want y'all to try to take advantage of this now, their friends, family, etc. Sometimes that, like, I have modes that I kind of find myself in. Sometimes I'm in a frugal mode. Sometimes I want to save a bunch of money, and sometimes I want to spend
shopping.
money. I'm just like, it's whatever. Money ain't nothing. Here, take it. Sometimes I'm in a social mood and I want to be around people, and then sometimes I kind of want to be a little bit more reserved. More often than not, I want to be a little bit more reserved. I feel like we've kind of really learn each other's patterns, if you will, and have kind of learned how to ride that pattern a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, and it's not so for us, in my opinion, for us, maintaining balance both with each other and individually has a lot to do with, I know when you're irritated, and I know how you tend to respond when you're irritated.
Right.
And so, because I know that, I can see the irritation coming, and then I can do things to mitigate that irritation.
Right.
I can intentionally do a, let's go out to eat tonight. Let's have a date night, because I know you like the personal time, or whatever. Like, not the personal time, but the together time. I can say
the quality time.
Yeah, like I can say, hey, we're not gonna be around people this weekend. Let's stay home. Because I know your pattern. I know when you're kind of getting at your edge. Similarly, I've learned mine a long time ago. And so when I'm kind of getting to that point, it's just like, all right, bro, I ain't going nowhere. I'm at the house.
Right.
You can do whatever you want to. Leave me. I'm staying at the house.
Yeah.
And so for me, part of the balance for us is figuring out is being able to learn each other's patterns, and then ride that wave and not constantly fighting against it. So yeah, that's my take.
Yeah. I like how you say ride that wave. Because we sometimes we want to, especially as the woman, we want to. I'm not gonna say all women, but we want to fix it.
Right.
You're in a mood. I want to fix it.
Right.
There's some women and men that be like, they in a mood. Forget them.
Right,
whatever.
right.
But I think a lot of us want to fix it. What's wrong? And I'll say I'll be like, I may recognize that you're in a mood, but I'll still be like, what's wrong? Did I do something? What happened? And it's kind of like nothing. I'm just in a mood. It could be, something that happened at work, but it's no need to actually
to harp on it.
Yeah. Because it's gone, or it's against, it's not in your control. So it's just like, instead of trying to bring it home, I'm just trying to go ahead and go through the motion and just let it go.
Right.
So we want to fix it all the time,
right.
but
so what are some of your personal maintenance things? Like, what do you do to maintain your piece of the diagram? I don't know why I couldn't get that sentence out. It's so weird.
I like to again read. That's something that I actually got away from.
Mm-hmm.
I used to read, in high school and college. Not as much as my sister and my best friend, but I used to read. I used to go outside and in the storm. I love thunderstorms. But it was calming for me, and I like to read. I like to write. I did poetry like all my life when I was younger. Mm-hmm. Like high school, I remember my friend Shayna. We battled in poetry. We didn't like battle rap or anything like that, but we would write poems and be like, "This what I came up with. What you got?" Right. And we did that a little bit in college. So that was something that was peaceful for me, and kind of like focused my feelings. And I actually need to go back and look at my poems, because now I'm writing, but in a different way. I'm not writing poetry, I'm writing songs. So it's that, it's like, oh, this seems like it's a new thing for me, but it's actually something I've been doing. I've been writing. And so I'm kind of not figuring it out, but I'm labeling those things of, oh, this actually is something that I do that calms me, that develops me. It doesn't just gets me in a better headspace, but it develops me as a person, as a wife, as a Christian, as a psalmstress. Is that right? Psalmstress, psalmist, worshiper, all of that good stuff. Sure. So it develops me in those areas. Going back to school, it can be stressful, especially the field that I went into. It can be stressful to kind of like put everything together and meet deadlines and stuff. But like this week has shown me, like, not, even though I'm nervous about certain things and I'm like worried about, am I gonna be good at it or whatever, it brings me such excitement to say I'm doing this thing that I've desired and wanted to do. I'm improving my craft in this thing. I thought I was okay and good in areas. It's exposing me, in the areas that I'm not good, but it's also showing my heart's desire and my passion, coming to full circle. Yeah. So yeah, those are some of the things. I might have rambled a little bit, but I do that. You guys will learn.
It's all good. So for me, I mean, you touched on one of mine is video games, but games in general. I'm a simple guy. I don't play a lot of games. I'm not like the typical sit around and play Madden and 2K, and I don't like those types of games. I like competitive games. But I like like problem solving type of things, right? And so games and video games or board games or whatever that poses a set of problems, and then you have to express a skill set to solve said problem, or you have to think and problem solve to come up with a solution. That's the type of thing that kind of like builds me, if you will, that helps me maintain my side, because it is, and it sounds crazy to say, oh, work stresses you out, so you want to work more, or something stresses you out, so you want another stressor to fix it. But honestly, it's weird, but I really do find a sense of peace in the thought. Like it's should have turned that off probably. I don't know if y'all heard my phone just went off, but for me, thinking helps me relax. I mean like deep, like near meditative, thought is what helps me. And so, which is why I like games like, the whole D&D thing, or which is why music is
D&D.
or music is a thing for me.
Right. And that's kind of where we overlap and connect.
Yeah. Because like to sit down and say, okay, I'm not great at the piano, but I do like this song. Let me sit down and figure out the melody to this song. And let me figure out what chords work here and there and all that other stuff. That brings me peace. Like I said, sitting down and just kind of like, and to the average person, like watching or listening to myself or whomever I'm playing with play these video games, it may seem like you're stressed, but it's freeing my mind from everything else that's
it seems on. Like he's stressed, guys. I'd be like, so I mean, what are you upset about?
Well, because again, now it's I'm competing against someone, or I'm trying to solve this problem, and I'm not getting the results that I expected. And so that is a level of stress, sure, but it's freeing me from from other things, because at the end of the day, no sooner than I turn this game off, this is gone. Like this stress is out the window.
It's in your control.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's controlled chaos. And so
shells.
Inside joke. But yeah, so so that's kind of what helps me maintain. Now, mind you, I'm a country boy at heart, so
I was about to say yes, at heart.
So the fishing, fishing, hunting, just sitting out under the tree, in the rocking chair or in the chair swing, the tree swing or whatever. All those things also work, but I'm not in the country right now, so I can't do those.
Right.
So I have other escapes, but growing up, it was hop on the highway and just drive. Let the windows down, crank the music up, and just drive, and wherever I end up, that's just where I end up.
Right.
But yeah, that's
right. You
that's
again, you have, and I have talked about this, just in conversation, and actually in one of my counseling sessions this week. If you're not fully yourself, and I think I said it earlier too, if you're not fully yourself individually, and again, we have growth, we have areas that we can grow in. So when I say fully, I don't mean like you're perfect. But when you don't understand what you bring to the table and kind of craft that thing to show confidence, to show peace, like when you don't have a great balance within yourself,
right,
you're gonna tilt the scales a little bit more when you bring it into a relationship.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you're trying to search and find, and again, it doesn't mean that you don't have those moments in life, even whether you're with someone or by yourself, but when you don't recognize when it comes up.
Right. Side note, just to interrupt you for like 2 seconds, for those who are out there listening, drop in the comments and let us know how you balance how you keep balance in your relationship or in your life in general. You know,
Right.
What are some of your general upkeep tactics that you use to say, hey, I'm stressed out right now. I need to do this to relieve stress, or I need to get. I mean, whatever it is, like drop that in there so we can, so
Right.
we can share. You know,
And I know
don't
some
wanna
of
be the
my
only one sharing.
friends, they go on vacations a lot.
No, facts.
I'm
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to figure that out. I ain't even got no PTO to put in. And I know y'all got limited PTO.
Right,
I'm trying to, cause I know that's a relaxing thing. Cause I love when we go on vacation. I can't wait. 2 more weeks. Bless the Lord.
You know the crazy thing about vacations, for real, most of the time, for me, vacation is not that relaxing.
Well, that's probably because you go with, mostly my family, and we like to we like to be out and about.
Because everybody likes a vacation a little bit different, right? And so so vacation isn't an upkeep thing for me, isn't a balance thing, isn't a de-stress for me, because
Going somewhere vacation.
because everybody likes to, like, most people like to get away, go to a place you've never been and see all the sights and do and da 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 da. And I'm like, yo, if you give me a bed, internet connection, and water of any sort, that's literally all I need to
So,
vacation.
home.
Like seriously.
So
Like,
home
so
is what he
for
said.
me, vacation is turn off the social media, turn off the phone. Nobody can contact me, and I just got a few days to just be to myself and relax.
Tiff,
That's vacation.
Tiff, you're laughing, but you already know how your brother is.
No, seriously. Like the last time we went on a family vacation, I legitimately let everybody else go off, do what they were gonna do, and I went to my room and just went to sleep.
Yeah.
And was content. Like
He was
like,
very content with
just
that.
chilling.
And he was just like, call the room when y'all leave from this area if y'all gonna do
If you're
something
gonna do
else.
something like meaningful, then yeah, give me a buzz. Other than that,
let me be.
like, and that's but again, that's because I either need the isolation or I need to problem solve. And 90% of the time on vacation, you're not isolated and you're not like thinking and problem solving. So it's not really that, relaxing.
He's terrible, y'all. He's terrible, y'all. But we have to stay balanced. We have to stay aware of ourselves. You have to be an individual within your relationship. I think it's funny because a lot of people. I'm not gonna say a lot of people, and I hate that I would say. A lot of people think as if I know what a lot of people think, but I'm gonna say people that we have talked to, people that we've been around, feel as though like we're probably that overlapping circle.
Overlapping circle. We think the same thing.
Right.
She's gonna say whatever I say. I'm gonna say whatever she say. We never argue.
Right.
We never disagree. And it's just like, nah.
No,
we
that's
just know
not
how
it.
to talk to each other.
Right, and we know how to talk to each other. We know how to, for lack of a better word, behave in front of everybody else.
No, seriously. Seriously. And beyond that, like we discussed earlier, we know each other's patterns. I know when we're out amongst people, when she's getting a little antsy, like there may be a topic of discussion, and she's getting a little, as they say, rah rah. And so when I hear that, when I feel that, as her husband, as her covering, it's my responsibility so that she doesn't have to step outside of her character. Okay, now it's my turn to dominate this conversation on behalf of us. Not because she can't speak for herself, but she doesn't need to get out of character. If anyone's going to be out of character, it's going to be me, right?
That's my bodyguard, as my dad would say.
Right, no, her dad definitely calls me bodyguard. Whereas on the flip side, she knows I'm not too big on folks, right? And so she can tell when people are starting to irritate me.
So it's time to exit.
Yeah, so it's just like, all right, y'all, well, we gonna head out. You know, we ready to go home because, you know, it's getting late. We got a ways to go. I'm tired, but she understands. Like, once I hit my limit for peopling, that's it.
Yeah, it's people-y out there.
It's real people outside. You know, and so we understand each other's patterns. We know each other's wave, and we know how to, for lack of a better term, manage the other one's wave. Like we say,
Right.
ride the wave. And so that's what that's kind of what we do. And people see that as, oh, y'all never argue. You're trying to look like you're in such a perfect relationship, and it's just like, nah,
Right.
we come to each other.
And honestly, it's every relationship you're gonna have arguments, you're gonna have disagreements, but I think it's learning how to argue. And that could be another topic that we talk about another day. But you have to learn how to argue. Like you're not going to go through your whole relationship and not have a disagreement and not argue. You have to learn how to effectively do that.
Let me interrupt you 1 second. Shout out Tiffany. These mani-pedis, Crystal put me on. I was just like, nah, bro, that's a little, oh no. And then for my birthday one time, and then, you know, had this little Asian girl, she was working on my foot, and I was just like, oh, this is love right here.
And the funny thing is, I took him to Williamsburg for his birthday to get his
we
feet
need to
done.
actually find that spot.
And I don't know where the spot is now.
Right. but
he fell in love, and then he like, you want to go get your feet done?
And
you know,
never want to go
because I have it ain't even a love-hate it is a love-hate relationship because I thank God for my feet. But I have a love-hate relationship for my feet and my toes.
No. Rub my feet. I don't like people, but I let these little Asian girls rub my feet.
No, for real.
I'm just saying.
No, I will. And you know
that sounds messed
we
up.
want to support black-owned businesses and stuff like that, but I would rather you talk about my feet in your native language, and I don't understand for me to get a English-speaking person who talk about my feet in English. We're gonna have a problem.
Look, this is my thing. I don't care what language you talk about my feet in, as long as you keep rubbing them bad boys. Like, you know, let's get some black-owned mani-pedi spots open. I'll hit y'all up, but if you cut my pinky toe up and it start bleeding stuff, I can't come back. I gotta go back to the Asian spots.
And she said that my dude be massaging these big old.
But no, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
But,
you're good.
But yeah, like, what was you saying?
I was just talking about, you know, don't talk about my feet in English.
Oh no, the anger thing before the mani-pedi thing.
The anger thing. What was I saying? We was talking about massaging and feet and.
I don't know.
Well, why would you bring me back?
I thought you may have figured it out.
You know, if I get off a track, I'm just off track.
Anyway,
I'm gonna use a lot of notepads in my career.
No, you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to.
Cause I'm like, what was he talking about last week? Oh, okay. But yeah, you have to stay balanced. You have to stay that yin and yang.
The yin.
Yin and
definitively. Thank you, sis. Knowing how to argue. See,
I said that already.
No, but that's what we were talking about before we went
to
the mani-pedi. You know, Tiffany be looking out.
You know my sister remember everything.
Tiffany be looking out. I'm telling you, she's good for the remember.
But yes, she does. She remembers stuff. I be like, bro, what? That won't me.
Right.
But yeah, you have to know how to argue. And that balance, like getting away sometimes and working on yourself and actually like doing a self-reflection on yourself,
right,
helps with that, because now I know why I got irritated for X, Y, and Z instead of coming at you for something that's inside of me, you know, or something that happened outside, and it's just like I'm bringing it to you. But if I pull myself away in those moments and do that self-reflection, then we can come back to the table, and we still may not agree on something, but when we're arguing about it or discussing it, we can leave and still be in a good place.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then,
Thank you, sister.
no, big facts. And then once you get that, once you start kind of like, again, learning yourself, learning how to maintain your own self, keep your section of the Venn diagram, your crescent together and on point. Then that middle section can really start to grow, really start to build.
Yes.
And then when you do get in public and you do have like you're not quite on the same page or something, it can look like a peaceful, just regular old discussion and not, that back and forth. And because you, again, learned each other's patterns, you've learned how to ride the wave, and your football in the middle of the Venn diagram is nice and full and healthy, right? Because your circle is nice and full and healthy, and that's really what this whole discussion is about. It's keeping yourself on pace, and in the spirit of Mental Health Month that just recently passed, May's Mental Health Month or whatever. Keeping your mental together, understanding where you are mentally.
Life is stressful.
If you're out of balance, if something's off about you, or if something's off about your partner, but more importantly, if something is off about you, and kind of start and learning how to recognize when you're kind of going over the cliff. Before you get all the way to the edge and tip over, recognize you're getting there and start taking some preventative measures and start doing
being proactive about it.
Exactly, being proactive, doing the things necessary to keep yourself together.
Right.
Because it's a lot easier to maintain a healthy relationship when you yourself are mentally, emotionally, physically healthy.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we've learned in counseling, and I don't know if it was last class or class before that. I'm going to talk about counseling a lot because I'm in school right now, so bear with me. But we talked about kind of knowing your limit and recognizing when you're reaching burnout. When you need that time to say, as the counselor, I'm going to have to go on vacation like soon.
Yeah.
And because if I don't, I'm going to push this onto my clients, and I'm not going to be helpful for anybody.
But that's important in any career.
Yeah, right. But I'm just saying it compared to the relationship.
Because that is a type of relationship, the counselor client relationship, and like you said, as the counselor, you don't want to be burnt out and overwhelmed and not mentally there, because that can reflect onto your client.
Right. And again, the same way, relationships, but in the same way, if I'm burnt out at work and it leaks over in all avenues, right? So then when I get home, I don't want to talk to none of y'all.
Right.
I don't want to hear about your day. I don't care how stressful you had it. I had it even more stressful. I had to see 5 clients, and they all got on my nerves. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you have to always check yourself. You always have to be balanced. Not even be balanced, but you always have to be mindful of your balance. Yeah. Like, so
it's not as important to be 100% balanced all the time as it is, like you said, to be mindful of where your scale is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because none of us are going to be on 100 all the time.
No, I need a nap right now.
But, bro, I needed a nap.
And I don't mean go to bed. I mean a nap and then later go to bed.
No facts. But it's more important to understand where your scale is so that you can make the adjustments to keep yourself leveled off like you need to. But yeah. I'm with it.
Yeah, so I guess we're going to wrap it on up.
Yeah, because we've been on here for a while.
And hopefully y'all that come on in later on and, watch the replay, let us know that you watched the replay. Yeah. #replay. And join us next. Yeah, we do that. #replay.
Okay.
When you're in the comments, you put hashtag.
I don't do social media.
I told y'all the other week I kind of do social media. I'm trying to work on it. This week I ain't been doing social media like that. Because again, it's been a little hectic week. I have had to focus. Um, and I've been struggling with focusing, but that's because it's a new environment that I have to get used to. But yeah, so I mean, I'm loving it. After I got kind of the jitters out of the way, I had to get my supervision done today.
Bless you.
The first supervision. This is another one coming. I don't know if it's gonna be tomorrow or Friday.
Right.
But I was, yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, so for those of you who are on now, you know, give us the thumbs up, the like, the share, the comment, the subscribe, all that other stuff. You know, put your friends on, put your family on. Tell them, give us a shout out. You know.
Yeah.
Like put us out there. You know, because we trying to help you
and help ourselves at the same time.
We trying to help you. No,
Serve.
But nah, real talk. You know, we hear it all the time on the YouTube and all that other stuff. Give us the like, the share, the comments, all that other stuff. But real talk, we do appreciate all the love and support that's out there, however great and small. Even if you just peep in for just a second, you know, we see it, we appreciate it, we love you for it, and we thank you for it.